second ago, but we back at it, man. We talking about one of the major cases that went on today, or yesterday, early this week. And welcome to the channel, to Breonna Taylor, actual lawyer. The cop involved in her situation just got sentenced to jail today. And it's been like going on. You know what I mean? People been talking about it, and I just kind of want to put out 2 cents in on it. Let me just check the audio, make sure sound is working, because we had a little glitch just a minute ago. I couldn't get going as well I wanted to. So, 1 second for a sound check. Sound like we is sounding good. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna go ahead and get right to the video, because let these people explain to you what's going on before we talk about it. All right, so let's get right to it.
A former Louisville police officer will receive 33 months in prison after his conviction related to the shooting death of Breonna Taylor. I want to show you that courthouse in Louisville. You see people gathering here as this has just come in. Here's why this matters. We're talking about Brett Hankison, that former police officer. It was recommended by the Department of Justice that he face 1 day behind bars. Could have been life, was 1 day. Now we have the sentencing from the judge. Obviously far more than what the Justice Department had recommended. Let me bring in Shaquille Brewster, who's joining us now. Just to give the backstory here on this, remember, he was found guilty last year of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights during that 2020 raid on a no-knock warrant that is now illegal in her home state here. He didn't fire the shot that killed Taylor, but did shoot his gun into the wall, into her home, etc. Now we have this number, 33 months. Any indication as to how the judge came up with this figure? It is obviously very different from what the Justice Department had recommended, that very controversial 1 day.
That's right, Hallie. And, you know, that headline literally just coming out in the past couple of seconds from the AP on their wire. So we're checking to see if there's any more information. I don't know if you just saw in that shot outside the courtroom, you saw some of the reporters running out. So we'll get a little bit more information in the next couple of moments here. But yes, the key thing is that this is more than what the Department of Justice would ask the judge to sentence this former police officer. Remember, they said, can you just give him that 1 day of time served and then 3 years of supervised release? But Hallie, it is much less than what the family of Breonna Taylor was hoping for. I spoke with them just ahead of this sentencing hearing, and they wanted to see a sentence closer to what the guidelines would suggest. And federal sentencing guidelines get very complicated, but even in that sentencing memo from the Department of Justice, they said that essentially the probationary office said that he should be facing somewhere between 11 to 14 years in prison. Of course, he's not facing that now. We have that 33 months that the judge has sentenced him to at this point. But just going back to what we heard ahead of this, you know, when that sentencing memo came out, there was a lot of outrage. You had the mayor of Louisville saying that
I don't know if that's equivalent to a death for a person. You know what I mean? She's a pretty girl, as you can see. She was living her life. And as the story goes out, the cops raided the house, but I think it was like a wrong home, and she ended up dying. And it's really sad that she went through that, you know, I think she worked for like the government as well, like an operator or something like that. It's just really sad what happened to her, man, you know what I'm saying? Because she actually lost her life living normally, you know what I mean? I think they tried to front like the boyfriend she was with a drug dealer and all this shit, and you know, maybe he was, and then I think it found out that it wasn't actually him. It was like an old boyfriend. It was like crazy, you know. And who want to deal with that? You know what I'm saying? She shot down, dead, dying, and the guy got to shoot back because he didn't know what was going on because it was a no-knock warrant. And apparently they got the warrant from another county, so the judge wasn't really knowing that they was going to particularly go to that house in that particular area. It was a whole lot of shit involved with that. And again, she lost her life. And this guy, or this cop, was one of the people who shot inside the house, which triggered this whole big, you know, shootout, you know what I'm saying, with her being in there as a woman with no gun. She not expecting none of this stuff to happen. And it really just showed that the people don't really be caring about the people like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could be chopped liver in a second, you know what I'm saying? And they blasted her into oblivion, and then the state, now imagine what they said, the Department of Justice suggested that he do 1 day in jail for a murdering of a human at his job. Like, you can't even, and I used to have jobs, you couldn't even leave shit out, you know what I mean? Like, if they said put that stuff away and make sure it was right, you had to do that, you understand what I'm saying? So To see somebody that killed this woman and then not even have to face justice is crazy. It's to show you that, man, are the cops on our side? Like, how do we protect ourselves from this type of ridiculous craziness? But I'm gonna let it play again so you can hear it. So the ladies, what? Let's just run it again.
Gathering here as this has just come in. Here's why this matters. We're talking about Brett Hankison, that former police officer. It was recommended by the Department of Justice that he face 1 day behind bars. Could have been life, was 1 day. Now we have the sentencing from the judge, obviously far more than what the Justice Department had recommended. Let me bring in Shaquille Brewster, who's joining us now. And just to give the backstory here on this, remember, he was found guilty last year of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights during that 2020 raid on a no-knock warrant that is now illegal in her home state here. He didn't fire the shot that killed Taylor, but did shoot his gun into the wall, into her home, etc. Now we have this number, 33 months. Any indication as to how the judge came up with this figure? It is obviously very different from what the Justice Department had recommended, that very controversial 1 day.
That's right, Allie. And, that headline literally just coming out in the past couple of seconds from the AP on their wire. So we're checking to see if there's any more information. I don't know if you just saw in that shot outside the courtroom, you saw some of the reporters running out. So we'll get a little bit more information in the next couple of moments here. But yes, the key thing is that this is more than what the Department of Justice would ask the judge to sentence this former police officer. Remember, they said, can you just give him that 1 day of time served and then 3 years of supervised release? But, Hallie, it is much less than what the family of Breonna Taylor was hoping for. I spoke with them just ahead of this sentencing hearing, and they wanted to see a sentence closer to what the guidelines would suggest. And federal sentencing guidelines get very complicated, but even in that sentencing memo from the Department of Justice, they said that essentially the probationary office said that he should be facing somewhere between 11 to 14 years in prison. Of course, he's not facing that now. We have that 33 months that the judge has sentenced him to at this point. But just going back to what we heard.
That's crazy. I mean, 33 months and you killed a person, that's no way. People do way more time than that. And that's just, I guess qualified immunity type stuff where they can get away with murder, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all coming to the channel. This is Hood. This is Black Outrage 22. I want you guys to hit the like button, show some love. We rocking out tonight. We're just talking about this matter because it's all over the internet. It's a lot of black outrage about it. It's a lot of outrage, period, because all of us have to deal with the police. We have to deal with going to court and dealing with this. And if it was your family member, it's no way you're going to be happy or having fun hearing that the person only going to do 33 months. How many years is 33 months? Is that like three? That's almost 3 years, right? It's like 3 years. It's less than 3 years. So it's sad. It's really uncomfortably sad. So hit the like button. Appreciate y'all coming over here to the channel. Let's get back to it.
Ahead of this, when that sentencing memo came out, there was a lot of outrage. You had the mayor of Louisville saying that he wanted Hankinson to face a serious sentence. The governor suggested that politics was involved in the Justice Department asking for that lower sentence. And part of the reasoning in that is that this is a departure. This is the Justice Department and federal government spending years to prosecute this former officer. This is the second trial that he faced. This first one ended up in a mistrial. This one ultimately, he was convicted on one of the 2 counts that he was facing. And many people noting that the prosecution team, when they filed this memo suggesting that lower sentence, the team that prosecuted him in this case, they did not sign this memo. Instead, it was political leadership that ultimately signed this memo. So a lot more to figure out, a lot. I really am curious to know how much of that conversation, how much of that 4.5 hours or so of the sentencing hearing was about the judge asking them about this decision. But ultimately,
I've never heard nothing like that, so I got to play that again. But he said that the prosecutor didn't sign the what?
Memo suggesting that lower sentence. The team that prosecuted him in this case, they did not sign this memo. Instead, it was political leadership that ultimately signed this memo. So a lot more to figure out, a lot. I really am curious to know how much of that conversation, how much of that 4.5 hours or so.
That's kind of deep because I really don't understand what that means, the memo. that went in. The memo saying that he should get lower sentencing or whatever. It's like a lot of political jargon and jumping jacks that go on in that world where somebody could kill somebody and didn't get away with it. You know, if that was me or you, it would be way more prosecution, and it would not be some way where you walking home after the fact. You'd be probably sitting in there for a long ass time, and that's just what it is. And obviously, even as a cop, you got the cop in Minnesota who killed a white lady. He got locked up almost 5 years or whatever he did. You know, it's like crazy, but 3 years, short time. Let's see what else old boy got to say.
The Justice Department and federal government spending years to prosecute this former officer. This is the second trial that he faced. His first one ended up in a mistrial. This one ultimately, he was convicted on one of the 2 counts that he was facing. And many people noting that the prosecution team, when they filed this memo suggesting that lower sentence, the team that prosecuted him in this case, they did not sign this memo. Instead, it was political leadership that ultimately signed this memo. So a lot more to figure out, a lot. I really am curious to know how much of that conversation, how much of that 4.5 hours or so of the sentencing hearing was about the judge asking them about this decision. But ultimately, she coming down and sentencing Henkinson to the 33 months in prison, Hallie.
Let me pull back up that live shot too. I know it's just the door at this moment, but at one point earlier in the day, we had seen, I believe it was Breonna Taylor's aunt be arrested. Yeah. According to our citation that our local station shared with us there. Do we know what that was about? Why that was? I just think it's notable given just the context-wise, how much of a nerve Breonna Taylor's death struck across the country, right, at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, and now, even now, in Louisville, Kentucky as well.
No, exactly. And, you know, there's definitely still that emotion there. I think we have another camera outside the court where there's an active demonstration underway right now. In terms of Breonna Taylor's aunt, who apparently was arrested, earlier in the day, you saw a handful of demonstrators try to take to the street, and they were blocking traffic. There was another woman who was in front of the vehicle, hitting it and kicking it. Police quickly showed up less than 15 minutes after that happened and put anyone who was in the street in custody. It seems as if Breonna Taylor's aunt was charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing a highway. There was a mugshot that ultimately was released. We did actually hear from the Louisville Police Department commenting on what you're looking at right now, and they say, we understand this case caused pain and damaged trust between our department and the community. However, what we saw today in front of the courthouse in the street was not safe, acceptable, or legal, Hallie.
Hey, that's crazy. You'll go to jail for your dead family member like that? You going downtown to go crazy and just send it up because of what happened to her? And it's been years now, so you know the emotion is still high. Their auntie been having birthdays and parties, and to celebrate the girl.
This is not the end.
It's kind of sad, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that the guy's going to go in there and come out fast, like he's not going to really be popped off and sit still, is crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it's nothing you can do, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, people fought for him to go down, and they went to court and they did what they had to do. But ultimately, nobody really controls what the media, what the law is going to do, you know, because you got lawyers. They say it's a second trial. The first one was a mistrial. How could that be a mistrial if this guy was literally at the location, literally had a gun, and literally shot him? So it's like a lot of stuff that when it get to these elements, it don't really be what we assume is going to be right.
Today.
Again, if it was me or you probably going through this, it would be so locked and loaded. There would be no confusion. It would be no problems. They'd know exactly what they was doing, how you was finna go down, why you was finna go down. They'd explain it to whoever had ears. But in this regard, it's not the same. They looking at it like, you know, it's okay, she died, maybe she messed up, she did something to scare people, like whatever the hell they're saying, she's dead, you know, and nobody's gonna suffer behind it, you know what I'm saying? And he's gonna do 33 months, but it ain't really like no crazy 33 months, you know, it's gonna be a short little win for him. You know what I mean? That's not really jail time for somebody like that did that type of crime. It's like, that's nothing, you know what I mean? Everybody in the jail will be telling them, like, man, you going home. You'll be going home soon. Like, you ain't even be sitting here. Like, don't even worry. Like, you crying in your cell. Like, you unhappy, man. Boy, you got to walk up out of here. And eventually he going to take to it and be like, you know what? Man, I ain't going to be in here that long. I got to deal with what I have to deal with, but I'll be home. And that's the fact. That girl, Breonna Taylor, never coming home again, ever. And everybody who loved her, just like their auntie, they gotta just suffer. You know what I'm saying? Because her spirit and everything that she had to offer to the family and what she would have did, and she was doing the right thing, working a job, in a little relationship. She was not even like in the streets and running around and causing chaos. And she caught a bullet. It's like, damn, like how the fuck family? That's my family. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's the way the world works, man. And you know, she just kind of she caught the bad end of it. You know what I'm saying? And oh boy, and them again, they don't go down like that. They, you know, it's a reason for them not to go to jail. So it's just really horrific, man. So let's see what else the other people got to say about it. Let's flip the camera.
They sentenced a former police officer to 33 months in prison in connection with the 2020 killing of Breonna Taylor. Brett Hankinson, the former officer, is seen here arriving at court today to be sentenced. Hankinson was not the officer who fired the fatal shot that killed Breonna Taylor, but he was involved in that no-knock raid that ended Taylor's life. Notably, Taylor was not even a criminal suspect at the time that the raid took place. And although Hankinson did not fire the fatal shot, he was nonetheless found guilty of violating Taylor's civil rights and using excessive force, firing 10 shots through Taylor's window and door during that no-knock raid. Well, the Department of Justice, in making a recommendation for a sentence, did something quite unusual. It's worth noting that the maximum sentence for a crime of this sort is a life sentence. But Trump's Justice Department made the highly unusual recommendation for the convicted officer to serve just 1 day in prison. A recommendation that Taylor's family said, quote, broke their heart.
So you see that it's a lot of heartbreak involved with, you know, the president and his team saying let the guy get off and let him spend 1 day in jail. You've never heard in the history of humankind somebody killing somebody and doing 1 day in jail. It's almost offensive, but you know, Trump got his ways about himself, and you know, it is what it is. But it's horrific to even hear somebody say, yo, let him spend 1 day in jail. It's like, what? That person deserved way more than that, you know. But again, it's a big feat. You know, how somebody gonna get him locked up? You know what I'm saying? How is it gonna work? Let's see what the other people got to say about it, man. If they don't put one of these commercials up, because they normally will do something, hey, here it comes. You know what's next. Just 5 seconds though. So we got to get to the bottom of this Breonna Taylor drama, this Black Outrage 22. I appreciate y'all checking it out. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button though. Show me some love. We on here chatting it up. We're getting done with this commercial. But you know I like to snag sometime at the end of commercials. It's showing, you normally just zoom through, but then you got like this whole wait longer than the 5 seconds crap that's going on. It's like, okay, so you're not going to play no more? But it will. And the whole thing is that we just got to kind of talk about this kind of stuff because it's horrific, man. Don't nobody want to lose their family. Don't nobody want to be the person caught up. You got all these holidays and everything coming up. And who want to go through what they going through, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you hit reset, it start talking. So I don't know what's going on. The internet normally don't have no problems. All that old buffering, it could try to stun on me with some buffering. Get out of here with that. Hit the like button, y'all.
A police officer convicted of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights is set to be sentenced today. Brett Hankinson was one of the officers who took part in the deadly botched raid on Taylor's home back in 2020. Hankinson fired 10 shots into the home, but did not fire the shot that killed Taylor. CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdez is in Louisville, Kentucky with a preview of all of this. Good morning, Nicole. So who decides the sentencing and what is the range of possibilities here?
Errol, good morning. Well, it's up to a federal judge here in Louisville to decide what this former Louisville police officer will face in terms of prison time here. His charges could really put him in behind bars for several years, possibly more than 10 years. But the Department of Justice just last week issued a memo asking that judge to sentence this officer, former officer, to just 1 day in prison, citing what they call time served since he was initially charged in the killing of Breonna Taylor. Now, let's make sure that we recognize here that his charge is for violating her rights. The murder, of course, as we know, several years ago. But what we're looking at now is sort of to determine what he will face in terms of a sentencing after he was convicted of doing so. Now, of course, as you can imagine, Taylor's family and their attorney have called this recommendation an insult, saying it sets a dangerous precedent, especially in the wake of the outcry that came of Taylor's death several years ago. So we're really looking to see what the judge does here, if she will consider the Department of Justice's request, or if she will go much steeper and look.
So as we already know, the judge went on ahead and gave him 33 months. They was asking for 1 day in jail, citing that he was already charged. But you remember, he's supposed to have 1 day in jail if you already had been in jail. So this is the reason why Diddy in jail right now, because they might give him time served in the future. They might not. But that guy was supposed to actually get from the Department of Justice, which is Trump and them saying he's supposed to get 1 day in jail because of he was already arrested or charged or even set in jail for a short term. But the whole point is that he did a crime and he's supposed to be locked up. What up, Juan? What up, Jesus? What up, Dennis? What up, Cash Bandit? We just really, and let me know where y'all from too in the comment, man. Shout y'all cities out. Hit the like button, show love. We appreciate y'all coming to check out the channel. It's just one of those moments that you can't change the outcome. You can't change what happened. You can't even be mad about the results of what happened because it's out of our hands. You don't control none of it. You don't make nothing happen. Steve O. Stoner says, Chirac in the building. What's good? You know I love Chirac. That's hometown. Indeed, forevermore. You know what I'm saying? So I always shout home. So, but yeah, you know, you seeing how he could be let go and not even have to face jail time after killing a whole human. That shit's crazy. And it's like, what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you live in your life, you can get pulled over by the police. They could run up in your crib, they could come at you. And, you know, somebody in the house got a gun, gonna let that thing fly. It ain't good. It's gonna be so bad if you do that because you see what they doing. And again, they expected no prison time, thinking that if it's 33 months, they're gonna do like, what, 3 months in jail or something like that. I mean, it's different for people that got that kind of stature or that kind of job because they don't want them to be accosted in jail. And who's not gonna want to get in a police officer's face if that person's in jail with you? You know what I'm saying? Because so they're gonna be like, nah, we ain't gonna threaten his life and put him up like that. We're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? We said, Tyrell V said, policing is a $2 billion plus generated business. Each year, nationwide policing generate $2 billion plus in revenue. Now, see, that's right there. It's something, you know what I mean, to be known, because I didn't know that. I mean, you think about it as a government entity, you know what I'm saying? Not like a business or some success story for some entrepreneur, but ultimately, is that what it is? Because you know it take money to house the prisoners, it take money to pay for the vehicles that they drive in, the cops to take money for them to wear their outfits and then have training and build the buildings they're gonna be standing in to do the, you know, said training, and it's just a lot, you know what I'm saying? And then us as citizens, you know, what do? You know, I just think that they should probably get the guys or get some guys a little bit more tougher because the murder thing that they do, and then obviously months, years down the line, we're supposed to still have a heart or understand what the guys is up to, and it's crazy. Tyrell said the same broken record decade after decade. Yep. And then you got the guys that's, you know, that, like us, that's outraged about it, that's sad, that's like, you affected by it mentally, affected by it socially. You know what I'm saying? You got your own family members that have to go outside and be amongst the people. They also won't be growing up, going to parties, getting drunk, hanging out, partying, clubbing, you know, ride around normal, going to the store, you know, with their kid in the car perhaps. And then here come a police officer who might be afraid, who might be trigger happy, who might be, you know, going through his own mental issues, and all of a sudden something could happen, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to have a heart for that person to say, well, he's under a lot of stress and it's not easy to do what he do, and he was really afraid in that moment, but literally somebody died. Like, how the fuck are we supposed to be having more upset or hurt for the person who did the shooting? Like, that don't even fucking make sense. And it's a job. Like, damn, you can go take off work, but you don't have to really kill people. So let's get back to this other little segment.
DOJ has recommended no prison time for an ex-LMPD officer convicted in the Breonna Taylor case. That's according to a new memo just filed by the U.S. Department of Justice. Back in November, a federal jury found Brett Hankison guilty of violating Taylor's civil rights when he fired 10 shots into the side of her apartment. That was the night of the deadly 2020 police raid. Now, none of his bullets hit Taylor, but jurors determined he used excessive force with a deadly weapon. But now, in a stunning turn, DOJ attorneys with the Civil Rights Division are only recommending 3 years supervised release. It is a far cry from the many years the government was expected to push for. Under President Trump, the DOJ has seen a major shakeup in leadership and priorities. Hankison was facing up to life in prison. He has not served any jail time since that day he was first federally charged in 2022, and because of his lack of prior criminal history. The federal judge in this case will make the final decision on what time, if any, Hankison serves. That'll be at a sentencing hearing on Monday, July 21st.
Hey, that is crazy right there. The head of the Department of Justice trying to get a day out of him, and he never spent no time in jail. I thought he did something. You know how the people do some kind of time?
You hire a driver
they talk about he didn't even know them. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? It's just crazy.
To do your grocery shopping too. So
My
if
shit
you don't
glitching.
love it, or you're not an expert at it, why not?
Don't do that. I don't know why the damn computer's starting to glitch now that I'm live. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Shit playing audio when it ain't supposed to. Come on, man. Stop stunting on me, man. We talking this real serious business stuff right here. They liking, they showing love, they doing comments. We having a good time. Stop being silly, YouTube. What the fuck? YouTube starting to tweak like, hey, don't talk about this. I didn't want that guy to get locked up. What's up with YouTube, man? You for the people, or you come on, man. What's happening with YouTube? It's crazy. It's like crazy. So, but I do believe that the guy is going to get out of jail fast if he even do that time. You know, I don't even think they're going to make him do no time like that, because the whole point is that he ain't been in jail all this time. So it's like, why would they sentence you and then all of a sudden you had to go sit in jail? You've been free since the situation occurred. So nothing, no real jurisprudence have happened with you in regard of it. It's not really went down like that for you. So it's not like you really got a problem. It's like, you know, it might not be comfortable, you know, people talking about it and shit like that, but you ain't went to jail. And everybody kind of like talking about the same subject matter. Nobody is really having a lot more conversation, but until we found this. It's actually Breonna Taylor's mother
The federal prosecutors,
giving
though, they asked
a statement. So let's see what she got to say.
for him to get 1 day. The judge gave him 33 months. Was this justice in your eyes?
It wasn't justice, but I got essentially what I started out for, which was jail time. So it's a start.
When you heard the prosecution say 1 day, what went through your mind?
I couldn't understand why he was there. I from the moment it started, I felt as if he should have been sitting next to Brett Atkinson.
The prosecutor, you mean?
The whole, yes, absolutely.
Is that what you meant? Because there was a moment you said, I'm sorry, there was a moment you said something like outside the courthouse, there was no prosecution for us. Is that what you meant? You didn't have an advocate?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I meant. He advocated for Brett the whole time. Like, there was no application for the family, for any of the victims. It was him literally there to make sure Brett got the least amount of time as possible.
Did the prosecution ever speak with you or meet with you leading up to today's sentencing?
No, he didn't know who I was when he even came over to address us.
Really?
No, I've never spoke with him. Like I said, he came over to speak with us. He didn't know who I was. From the prosecution stance, Breonna never.
That ought to let you know a lot right there, man. They don't, and these people are famous in the world of that world, unfortunately, sad world to be famous in. You know, losing a loved one like that. So the guy don't know who you are, and in a courtroom, you obviously the mother of the person that we talking about, and he walk up and talk in a general sense he don't talk directly to you. It's like you could tell this person don't even know out of the group who you are. It's just crazy how you would assume that these people will have a lot more understanding and care and heartbreak, but you got a person coming down there to advocate for the cop not to do more time, and you can't stand up in the courtroom like what the fuck you say? You gotta be all inside this decorum and sit back and shit because you're not a lawyer yourself, and how they set this up you don't know, but it's happening in front of your eyes, and the judge listening to it like what, huh? What's going on? Why the judge listening to this? But it's the reality that people be facing under this type of situation, man. You talking about your daughter dying, and this what they doing in the place. It's like what the fuck is going on? But it's nothing she can do about it. We all know that when these type of things happen, they basically affect everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's the mother who getting dealt with in the wrong way, but especially in a courtroom that's going to be on the news, that's going to be on the TV. They have no hideout. They don't care what people see or know. They're not gonna feel weird about somebody finding out. This is how it go. It's like, nigga, find out what y'all want to find out. The reality of it is, this is what it is. No, we don't want dude to have to go down like that. And maybe they right, and they thought, he had to deal with what he had to deal with. You shot 10 times in somebody's crib. How are these people victims? How are these people somebody that's like you gotta have a sadness for? That's called something you wasn't supposed to do. They don't train you to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you broke the rules of your training, and that's not how you're supposed to do it. Whether you're scared, whether it's other people doing it, you're still supposed to have your training that you was in. And if you didn't, and if you don't, it's repercussions for it. That's just what you signed up for to be a cop. Like it's just what you said you wanted to do. They give guidelines on YouTube. If I do certain things or say certain things, they kicking me out for that. It's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of horrible about what happened to him. But we're gonna flip back over and see what he got to say. And that was Breonna Taylor auntie actually going down for that particular moment. It looked like they was protesting outside the building, and that turned into everybody going crazy. It looked like she over here snapping with a bull on her too. Like she wilding. I mean, she was wilding that day. I could say, whoever she is, but you can imagine her hurt and pain. Somebody passing like that, and then you don't ever get a chance to see him again. It's probably one of the worst things you can imagine.
Alexis delves more into the case that has rocked Louisville for 5 years now. Alexis?
On YouTube been glitching, y'all already know what's going on. shit is no sound. Damn. Yeah, there you go. I'm having glitches all over here and shit. This fucking YouTube, oh crap. Hopefully y'all can still hear this shit, you know. But yeah, it's like we're not getting the same love from the people at the top. You know what I'm saying? They're not showing that same kind of respect to the humans and the people. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know.
I think they showing love.
So we work hard to try to be supportive of the reality, but they ain't showing love. You know what I'm saying? Letting people get away with murder like that, and then they walk home, and you know that most people get prosecuted to the highest extent of law. It's not no joke. It never will be. And other folks get to just be like, hey, I did a crime, but hey, I know you don't like it, but I wasn't trying to get, you know what I mean? I don't know if I could say I was trying to do it, but it happened. And now the girl gone 10 times shot into somebody's crib. It's like, oh. I mean, I couldn't even, you know, imagine hearing that shit slashing through the motherfucking window. You trying to get down. It's hitting your body. You're trying to smooth through the window, smooth through the thing. You're trying to go outside the other door, run in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Because there's multiple people shooting. It was just this one guy who got sentenced. But it was multiple people shooting inside that crib. And it's really horrific what she had to deal with. It's just like my humblest opinion. I think that was horrific. Let me see what boy B-High got to say about it. I think they're going to chat about it real quick. Let's get them to go. We're having a glitchy weekend.
Radio shout in as always. I got my podcast popping off in this thing. OG Gangsta Weekend, aka Big Galaxy of Ghetto Mafia.
What's handing in?
Now, Wick. So now in trending news, Wick, you know, a federal judge on Monday sentenced the former Kentucky police officer to nearly 3 years in prison for using excessive force during the 2020 deadly raid of Breonna Taylor's home, and rebuffing the U.S. Department of Justice recommendation of no prison time at all for the officer. Now, the officer, whose name was Brett Hankerson, who fired 10 shots during the raid but didn't hit anyone, allegedly was the only officer on the scene charged in Breonna Taylor's death. He is the first person sentenced to prison in the case that rocked the city of Louisville and spawned weeks of street protests over police brutality that year. And, you know, basically, people were already up in arms about what was going on when, you know, the government was saying, you know what, don't even give him 1 day, don't even give him no time in jail, you know. So he winded up getting, you know, 33 months. And that's where we're at with it right now, 3 years in jail.
I think what people are mad about behind, one, I think that's the, you know, it goes without saying that that's a ridiculous sentence. I think what a lot of, you know, us want in the community is just fairness. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing that this officer, 2 other officers wasn't even charged at all. This guy shot reportedly over 10 shots.
Yeah.
If you kind of listen to the language and what's being wrote, they're not really saying who actually fired the fatal shot.
Yeah.
So that's one red flag. You can figure out if I don't see, you know, gangs get to shooting at each other and there's everybody got an AK.
Yeah.
And they can figure out which one of the black boys hit the little girl that was across the street at the playground that was on the, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make the ballistics, we can match it up to that.
That's right.
But you have these 3 cops shooting, and we don't really have a definitive answer on who fired the killing shot.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it anywhere. Maybe somebody else can tell me.
Yeah.
And others too didn't even get charged because apparently they didn't fire the fatal shot. So that only leaves Hankerson.
Yeah.
But they're not saying that he fired the fatal shot. They say he shot 10 times and they think it might have been. So you can't even own up to, you know, to what really happened. We can't even get a clear picture of what happened. So that got people upset. Now,
what they're saying that it also happened, you know, they're saying that her boyfriend, he actually shot and they were returning fire. So I'm guessing in that kind of situation to where when the boyfriend shot one of the officers, it was a free-for-all. So if anybody got hit after that, they saying that, you know what, that just is what it is. However, they had no business running up in there to begin with.
In the beginning, it was a no-knock warrant.
Yeah.
It was a no-knock warrant. So they had no business up in there anyway, first of all. This is this girl, from what I understand, it wasn't her the boyfriend's crib. It was her crib.
Yeah.
I think that stopped a lot of the no-knock warrants. We had this same situation going in Atlanta where they kicked out the door and kept the old lady.
Yeah. Catherine Johnson.
Yeah. So my point that I'm making is this, Beehive. We have, you know, we're sitting here looking at the other day the Cashapp and the mother situation. Not to compare the two because they're not the same.
Apples and oranges.
They're apples and oranges. One is pimping.
Yeah.
Gorilla pimping.
Yeah.
And one is murder.
Yeah.
So they're not that far as, you know, the statutes should be. And, you know, to see such a discrepancy in the time is what a lot of people are saying. When I'm reading comments. Like I said, a lot of stuff is not what I'm saying. It's what when I go read comments and I get it and I gauge from different sites what the people are saying. I'm a spokesman of the people. I'm a vessel of the people.
Yeah.
So when I come on here, I speak to what I'm seeing. So I'm not saying that. This is what people are saying.
Yeah.
So you got one on this side right here, life plus 70 years. You and I are not sitting here defending Cashapp and his mama.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I gave him a tongue lashing and his mama the other day.
Yeah.
And so you can go back and watch that particular episode when I talked about that. So they got a tongue lashing from me, and justice will serve in their situation. Hold the girls hostage, blah, 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 you're going to pay, okay. You get it. But then over here, you know, that's murder for a place you didn't supposed to be in anyway. You know, there's no-knock warrant mess. And as a result of that, you know, an innocent female got killed.
Yeah.
And y'all can't really, the lines are blurred on who, you don't even want to say which one killed.
I mean, all that stuff crazy, man. They know exactly who killed her. They're not going to put each other under like that. If the world used that much connectivity and safe regard for each other, where we make sure that nobody goes under, the world would be a better place if we had the ideology of the police and all them people, because they look out for each other. The brotherhood, whatever they call it, if you inside, you inside. And to be against the people like that is a little off kilter, but it ain't gonna change nothing, because in every city, every state, every county, every town, it is what it is, and it's across America the way it is. So you either in or you out. But that guy should have got way more time than what he had and walked home with. But I think it's okay for him that he don't get to go home. Maybe he don't get really convicted for that. His family gonna be happier too. He get to be home for the holidays. He get to do all that. But as you see, Breonna Taylor family out there going crazy on the street fighting. Like, hit that like button, y'all. Show some love. Let's run it up. Let's pass the message on. Let's keep it going. Hit the like button. Do all that good stuff that we do, that we pass this stuff on. And I appreciate y'all doing that. Hit that button, like button too. But, you know, it's just what it is. And it's these people get a chance to get away with the most heinous crimes and use fear and whatever else they're using to do it. It's crazy. I'm going to let old boy talk a little bit more. Let's see what he got going on over here. It's Wicked from Beehive Radio. ATL.
Killed her. You can do ballistics now. All of a sudden, it don't work anymore.
Yeah.
We can't tell which one of them killed her. Some just say somebody fired the fatal shot, and two are not charged, and one is charged and get 3 years, which are likely what are the 6 months, 8 months in jail.
Yeah.
So it's basically not giving you nothing. So that's what the people are saying out here. The injustice of you know, if you or I or any of the people out there have been in that same situation, that we have kicked in someone's door, and someone fired back at us. Yeah, they fired us. They didn't know. They can be scared. Who is that? Blah, blah. Why they coming in? Because you kicked my door in, I'm going to start shooting.
Yeah.
You better make sure that I yelling to the team. You kick my door in the middle of the night, especially if I'm dazed or I'm just waking up. I didn't hear you say police.
Yeah.
So we kick no goddamn doors in anyway. You can get people.
Now, what you think about that? If the police or anybody kick in your door, not saying police, police, boom, 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 cops, battle at the door, whatever you're supposed to say, you just hit a thump, boom, no knock warrant. They come straight in. You're hearing physical humans, more than one. It's you and your lady in the house. Y'all both warm. Y'all been laid up together in the bed since what, 11:30, 12, 10. Y'all soft. Y'all under the covers. You know what I'm saying? The TV going, but you done turned it down a little bit. You just nod. Or some people sleep in completely darkness, and you can hear everything. You waking up like, what the hell is that? You jump up quickly and get your gun. You know they coming in. You can hear the thump. You just God, let them ride. But they outnumber you, and they actually are cops, and they got mad guns, and now they just. And now you look up, your girl got dead, but you can't get to her because the bullet's still flying. You got to stay low. And they come in there, but they don't murk you. They pull you up and throw you in the cuffs, and then her body is lifeless right there. And how are you going to get that out your mind? How are you going to stop thinking about that? And then as you find out they cops, and you know they didn't say that they was police, they go on furthermore in the future saying, we told him where we was, he did this, he shot at us, you go straight to jail. You in jail, you can't explain what happened to nobody. You got to sit in jail and hope a lawyer or your family and them come talk to you so you can explain the story, because you're the only one that was there other than your girl who passed and the cops, who gonna all say, no, that didn't happen. He shot at us. When Tony got shot, we thought, hey, it's 1,000 of them in there, let's kill him. And what you gonna do? So when she died like that, and everybody could realize, oh man, she worked for the city. She wasn't no gangster. Her boyfriend who they was looking for didn't even live there no more. He moved on. And they had got the warrant from another county, from another judge who didn't even know that they was doing that. And there's so much crap that came down the pipeline behind that. But he only got a little tap. The people above him didn't get no jurisprudence. They didn't get nothing happen to them, nothing. Louise say they better have the right paperwork. That why there's cameras. Yeah, that would be dope if the camera worked. If it was cameras to showcase that. But sometimes cops cut that shit off. And then if they find out you got a camera in your crib, it's easy for them to destroy that shit. You're not necessarily sitting around like some kind of computer tech whiz where you got a backup and a backup and a backup. Nobody's thinking to that level, because you can't imagine the cops kicking in your door like, what the fuck are they coming in here for? I don't do shit. She don't do shit, but they got a good reason why. You know what I'm saying? That's why they cut that knock warrant out in that area. They like, you can't do that because you don't even know if you're running up in the right fucking place, and we giving you the green light to do it, and then you come back saying, oops, damn, we broke one of them, shit, we ain't know. And it's like, you can't do that to a human. That's why people are upset about it. Hit the like button, show love. I'm going to get back to Wick talking this smack. Let's get it.
People more peacefully. Yeah. They're kicking doors in. That stuff they started doing in the black community. Mm-hmm. That's another problem that a lot of people are having too. That no knock warrant bullshit. Yeah. That you don't do. We have seen the boy up there in Buffalo, New York. Yeah. Go in there and kill 10 black folks, and they talk him out peacefully. Mm-hmm. Wait till he comes out of the store to handcuff him peacefully. Mm-hmm. But you just say, cause somebody selling a nickel bag of weed and a dime of crack, you need to come in and blow the door off.
Introverts aren't bad at
people not going for it, y'all. You see, it's outrage. Black outrage is a real thing, man. It ain't just you coming over here to check it out. It's a real thing, and that's why we call it that, and that's why we let them talk. Let's get back to it.
Shoot dogs, everything. Come on. So it's just the nature of everything that if that ain't guerrilla. Yeah. We got one side that's gorilla pimping. That's right. And we got one side that's gorilla pimping. Exactly. But one gets life plus 70. Mm-hmm. And we're not taking up for them. We ain't taking up for them. But one gets a slap on the wrist for coming in and taking a black life. So that's just where I'm at with it. That's where a lot of the people at with it. We've been going through this for so long. We know it's always going to be injustice. It's always going to be an excuse. Mm-hmm. And they say that the boyfriend shot. I don't believe nothing that nobody says. Yeah. we have seen that if you don't have a camera, that we will be told anything.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the case of the man up in South Carolina. When they talk about he pulled a gun out, they don't want to put the gun on him. They killed him in the park because he ran away. I forget his name. Y'all tell me in the comments right offhand. But everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know, so many cases, Brad. Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
You know, and without you know cameras of people recording this stuff. Innocent bystander recording Ahmaud Arbery run. You don't know what happened. They were saying anything. Oh, he was brandishing a gun and I said, and he tried it, so they shot him. So I don't believe nothing that, you know, talking about they keep the door, you shouldn't be keeping the door in the first place, and then he shot it, so therefore they let it rain hell bullets, you know. It's the same mess, the same story, the same violin.
Yeah.
And you know, and we all upset because we feel like that, you know, that we can be killed and nothing really happens. And in this case right here, I don't see no justice in this sentence. That's my end. That's what I think about it.
So what y'all think on y'all end? Is there going to be justice for people like her? Is there ever going to be real justice for people in the world, period, that has to deal with the cops, that got to deal with, you know, the issues that come down the pipeline? We all Americans, we all deal with the same thing technically, no matter where you are in the country, no matter where you live. We all deal with the same stuff. So what's going to ultimately happen to people like that? Is it okay for them to murder and get away and walk away with it? Do you want that to happen to your family? Will you be on a jury and go ahead and let something like that happen? You know, he chose a judge, looked like he chose a judge, sentenced him, a judge on a bench trial, so there wouldn't be a bunch of people judging with different cultures and different backgrounds and different decisions. He just chose to just go straight with that person, and that person chose to give him the green light and let him walk up out of there and give him a baby sentence. And it's, you know, and it's like, was we expecting more? Was we expecting him to really do some real time for his actions? Was we really expecting him to go and sit down for that? You know what I'm saying? Or was it, this is just normal play of like what should happen? You know, he did a crime, he did a murder, and maybe he shouldn't have did it, but at the end of the day, it's over with. You know, Luis Velez says also the problem is the people are afraid of using the Second Amendment on tyrants. That is the reason why to keep the Fifth Amendment in effect. Yeah, you know, a lot of people do have guns and want to shoot back and can shoot back, but you see what it is. Like, you're going to lose your family. Like, you're going up against people who not only are they going to be extremely vicious and legally under the law can be extremely vicious at that time when you're shooting back, they're going to get found not guilty and no problem, especially if you shoot back at them. That's one of the worst things you can do, because they're going to be looked at it like we had to defend ourselves. What the fuck you think we're going to do? You gave us guns, somebody shooting at me. My job is to make it home at night. So that's not going to be the answer. They just need to be more strict on people that do that, or even train them better to. I really don't have the answers to that. You know, y'all probably got the answers more than me. I don't think I have the answers to stuff like that, because I think that if you love other people, you ain't really trying to kill nobody like that. Because we talk about it, we watch movies, you know, it's in music and stuff like that. But you imagine the stuff that you had that go through your mind if you had to do something like that. And especially, you know, you got to keep living your life and loving people, and something could happen to one of them. And even if something happened to them, you could be thinking it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? And you brought some kind of hex on the family from what you did. It's just so much shit your brain could be convoluted about all of that. So it's not nothing you want to do. Like, we see the guys being I don't know, vigilantes or whatever the fuck they be, like bounty hunters and shit. And it's cool, you know, there's nothing wrong with those things, but I'm saying, like, that to actually exact and do something like that and then go back normal eating Big Macs and shit and, you know, going to the amusement park, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think you'll have way more PTSD, as they call it, behind doing that. And especially if you do it multiple times, especially if it's your job, you got to keep coming back to work, and this is how you kick it. You might have to kill somebody. You might even just have to go in there to the captain, like, look, man, it's too rough over here in this area for me. Get me the fuck out of here. I can't do it. I don't want to make a mistake. You know, if they're going to take something from your integrity, they look at you and say, he a wimp. He can't be over there, man. What are you talking about? You know, what is the dynamics that they got to deal with on that end? Because you see, at the end of the day, they just choosing to shoot. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking at it like they're going to look for somebody another way. They like, hey, anything move, gun it down. You know what I'm saying? Louis said the problem is that they get away with the murder, and that's not fair for the civilian. We are human beings, my bro, and that's the whole point. It's like we actually are humans, and you signed up for a job, and you're gonna get off, you're gonna get a pension, you're gonna get vacation days, and you got therapy people you can talk to. They even make you do a psychological test before you even get the freaking job. So it's ways that they doing it to keep their guys where they don't have a breakdown, but people are people, man. Don't nobody got all the answers and all the remedies, and just spew to you what's the next steps. You know what I mean? People got a job, and again, when it come to killing somebody, they will actually do it. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's not a movie; it's real life. Like, they pulling a pistol out and shooting the shit out of somebody. If it comes to that, that's a part of the cop game for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you better keep away and don't put yourself in those predicaments. Not like you could choose somebody kicking in your door or even be ready for it happening. It's a shock. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna throw anybody off. Like, what the fuck going on? Then there's 10 of them, and then the 10 people shooting. Man, that's a moment don't nobody want to even have in a brain that could happen. You know what I'm saying? But yo, I'm gonna jump up off of here at this point. I gave y'all a nice little video for you to go ahead and jump into for the evening. So y'all let me know what's up in the comment section furthermore, and you can look at the top of this video. It's going to be the Black Outrage series you can continue to watch. It's about 22 episodes deep right now. It's dope. We got all kind of subjects that we kick in and talk about. We also got at the bottom, it's going to be like a subscribe button so you can subscribe. And y'all got to run that like button up. I was going to try to call out y'all little cities and wherever you from, and just keep the ball rolling with y'all, but it's not a lot of comments today. Everybody tired eating chicken, eating burgers, about to go lay down, about to go watch their favorite show. You know what I'm saying? America Got Talent or something like that. So I'm gonna let y'all jump into that, and then I'm gonna pop off again with another video either today or tomorrow. Y'all gonna be like, damn, that's going on, and we'll talk about it. And then you're gonna listen to me, and then you're gonna talk about it in the comment section too. All right, y'all, peace out.